Hey everybody, I'm not sure who's watching out there. Hope you're faring well through the snowstorm we're having today. And you have power and you're warm. It's crazy weather out there today, so I just figured I'd put some Facebook Live on and just do some painting, just to have some fun tonight. So feel free to comment, ask questions, say hello. I'll check in over there on the computer to see who's watching or if there's any questions. But this was a painting I did on Facebook Live last Friday night, I think. So I'm just going to keep working on it. It's an abstract painting. No particular plan. I'm not trying to make it look like anything, or it's not a realistic painting, obviously. We had played around with watercolors and inks, and we did some splatter painting on here. You could see in these green areas. We did some a technique where the paint or the ink was dripping down the paper. You can kind of see it there, and you can see some lines across this way. Use some acrylic paint in yellow on top. So I'm just kind of taking a fresh look at it tonight, and I'm just going to play around. I don't know what's going to happen. That's what's so fun about this. So I hope everybody's doing all right, like I said before. It's been crazy. I think it's stopping out here with the snow finally. I don't know what the total is. I'm going to guess 15, 16 inches, I'm not sure. Maybe more. Totally crazy. I know some people, I was just talking to my friend Susan on Facebook. I know she had a tree last week that fell down in her yard, and no damage, serious damage, fortunately. That's always a good thing. So let's just keep good thoughts for everybody. I know there are still some people without power, and the things we take for granted every day, like power and electricity. Well, it's the same thing: power, electricity, water, cable TV, email. I know some people still don't have cable TV or internet. So let's just be thankful every day for the things that we do have, right? It takes incidents like these, storms and unfortunate circumstances, to sometimes just remind us how fortunate we really are to to have the things we have and to be surrounded by the people that we're surrounded by. So just be thankful. Every day is a new day to be thankful for. So I'm painting on here, and I almost kind of see a figure up in the corner, maybe like some kind of ancient wise figure, a person. I kind of see maybe a little, almost like an Asian kind of hat on the person here, and maybe this is like a flowing robe or gown. I'm not sure. I'm using white now just to pull out some of it's over a dark purple or blue background, so the white just helps to pull some shapes out. Yeah, so I'm just gonna be working away over here. Let me see who's watching so I can say hello. I have Bob Ross here, my hero. He's helping us out tonight, watching me, inspiring me as always. So hi everybody. Hey, I see a bunch of people on there. Thanks for watching, guys. So feel free to put your comments, questions on there. I'll stop and take a look once in a while. Sometimes when I get in the groove, I might go into silent mode and just start doing stuff. And it's not that I'm ignoring you guys, because you're always awesome and inspiring. I'm so lucky. I always tell people I don't have thousands of friends, which is okay. But the friends I do have, they're all really good and close friends. So for me, it's not about quantity, but it's about quality. I'm feeling very wise. Maybe this being snowed in is making me go into wise man mode. I have no idea. You never know, right? So again, it's just about having fun, being loose, relaxing. If you have a piece of paper or colors, crayons, markers, pencils, anything at home, feel free to break them out and just draw and paint, color, just go crazy. I find sometimes the best inspiration comes from just doing, because just doing, you never know what's going to end up happening. I did bring out these, they're called Neo Color Water Soluble Crayons. I thought I'd play around with these a little bit tonight. And what I like about these is, let's pick I'm going to pick red. So I have a red, hopefully it'll show up. And let's just do some, you know, I always like to do hearts on things, as you guys notice. It's always a theme on a lot of my work. So I'm just taking this water-soluble crayon. And the cool thing, sorry about that, Bob Ross. I just knocked over Bob, and now he has some white paint in his hair. But he loves color, so it's all good. So I took the water-soluble crayon, and what you do is just take some water on a paintbrush, and you can go over the soluble crayon, and you can see what's happening. And I don't mind if it drips down to paper. That just adds to what I'm doing. But you see, the water is just kind of blending, or almost, I don't know if melting is the right word. I guess snow melting, that's on the brain, I guess. But it kind of melts the crayon, and it almost turns it into a watercolor material. So I guess you can kind of see how that's working on there. I'm actually liking it. I have a little bit of white mixed in here. I kind of like the way that looks. So let's just do some more. I feel like we're just doing some random swirls or shapes on here. And I think what I'm going to do is we'll just work some magic with the water-soluble crayons. I'm going to take a bigger brush. I have a wider one here. Put some water on it. And we'll see what happens. You know, sometimes you don't always, well, lots of times I don't know what's going to happen, but that's all right. Just got to be brave and go for it, right? It's only paper and art here. I mean, I always say, and I've heard this many times, there's no mistakes in art. You can always, right, Bob? You can always turn your happy little accidents into happy new treasures, I guess. Happy new discoveries. So sometimes what you can do is, if you want, you could actually take the water-soluble crayons. I'm going to wet an area here on the page. And let me grab, I feel like grabbing maybe a purple, actually maybe a blue, I'm not sure. And you could take the soluble crayon and put it on the wet area, which I just forgot where I did. Let's try it here. I don't know if it's going to be contrasting and showing up on the screen or not. That's not really working as well as I thought it would, but that's okay. I really like this red color. I don't know if it's picking it up on the camera here, but it's really nice and dark on this area. That's actually a very cool trail. I love this painting. I just love the stuff that happens. It gets my blood going. I'm going to add just a little bit of pink in here. I want to darken this up a little bit. Another thing I like about these water-soluble crayons is they have, I think, what's the word I'm thinking of? I guess they're more solid in color, or more darker than watercolor. So if you don't want it to be so transparent, it's a good material to use. Whereas watercolor is very, very transparent. But I guess the more water you add to these crayons, they do become more transparent. I don't know if it's picking it up. Just kind of pop those areas out a little bit. Just going to check the Facebook over there on the computer and see what's going on. Say hello. Hey everybody, hey, what's up? A lot of good people on here. I see a question. Is that Bob Ross? Who said Rachel? Hey Rachel, how are you? Yeah, this is Bob Ross. He's my my mascot here in the studio. helping me paint along. You can see, I don't know, top of his head here, he actually gets into the painting sometimes. He's got some orange and some white and some blue going on. So happy little colors on his head. So yeah, it's definitely Bob Ross. I've talked about Bob Ross before, and I watched Bob Ross when I was growing up, and he really influenced me a lot when I was younger, and even now that I'm an adult, because you can watch his stuff on Netflix and catch all kinds of shows everywhere. I don't know if you guys know this, but Bob Ross was actually, I think he was in the Air Force. He was an Air Force mechanic or something. I forget what he did in the Air Force, but he was a military guy. And, you know, we'll talk about contrasts, right? I would never would have pictured Bob Ross being a military man after watching his shows. It's just so day and night to me. I guess, you know, the military is trying to keep peace for the country, where his painting shows, you know, maybe it was more of a thing for him to keep peace with himself. I don't know much about his military career, what he thought about it, but I find it really interesting that contrast that he had. You know, and his love of nature and squirrels and birds and deers, and just pretty amazing guy. So what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to go back and I'm going to take out some of these ink color paints. This is a Liquitex ink, and I'm going to put some in a cup over here. Put a little bit of water in there. And pardon my hair, I didn't do my hair today. Probably all messed up from shoveling outside. I figured this would be a good break from, you know, shoveling and thinking about the snow. So I took that Liquitex ink, blue, I put it in a cup with some water. So I'm just going to go around and just add some highlights, I think. And one of the things I like to do is to contrast colors, and I've probably talked about this already. But, you know, put like a dark color against a light color, and it just kind of it'll pull things out. Cool. This is that shape I was talking about earlier, where I almost saw like an ancient wise man, or, you know, ancient wise person up in here. I don't know if I can pull, maybe I'll try to pull that out a little bit more as I'm painting here. I don't know if you guys can see that. And I'm really just totally being random today. Whatever happens is happening. I kind of felt like I needed just some darker colors in here a little bit, because I had a lot of light and bright going on, which I love, but just want to kind of mix it up a little bit more and pull some things out. Sorry if my head's in the way there. Cool. Hey Carol, I don't know if you're still on it. I liked your comment about, yeah, we have definitely seen a lot of white lately, so bright colors are absolutely welcomed on a day like today, for sure. Let's hope we're in the clear with all this stuff, though, right? In some ways, I've enjoyed the snow being kind of, it's weird, the snow day kind of helped me focus on getting office work done, which is a good thing. You know, I didn't have snow day brain where I wanted to go play all day, but I was able to get some stuff done. But now, if you talk to Noah, he really enjoyed his snow day for sure. He actually has a birthday coming up tomorrow. He'll be 12, He got one of his birthday gifts early from his grandparents, and he is absolutely thrilled about it. So I don't know if you're still on, Susie. I saw you on there before. Hello, and thank you so much. He really is enjoying his games, his PlayStation game. So who are some of the people that have inspired you maybe in your life, creatively, or inspired you to do in positive ways? Do you have any favorite people, maybe creative people that you admire? Authors, writers, dancers, actors, artists? I mean, I mentioned Bob Ross, definitely was one of my influences growing up, for sure. And then there's Frank Lloyd Wright. I'm sure you guys have heard of him, the architect. He's done many famous buildings. He inspired me growing up as well. And so did my parents. My dad inspired me. He's a very handy guy. Had a construction company for a little while, and so I guess I picked up the construction stuff from him. And my mom was very artistic, for sure. She actually did paintings on slate for people, little farmhouses or barns, I remember, and she was always doing something crafty. So I guess I picked up a lot of stuff from my parents as well. Cool. Looking very cool. Let's see. What do I want to break out next? I'm thinking. I got a lot of supplies and stuff out here. I have some colored pencils. Maybe, let me grab, let me try some colored pencil. I'm trying to think actually, I'm going to use white. I'm going to use some acrylic white paint. I feel like I need to add some white in some areas here to help pull some things out. Sorry I'm breaking out the white. I know we had a lot of snow, but I feel like I need white on here. Oh, hey, cuz, how you doing? How you doing, Alexis? Hope everything's well with you guys. I don't know if you got hammered up there up in the Northeast. I hope you didn't. So I forgot to turn the volume down on my computer, and I hear myself talking on the computer. There's a delay, I guess, between the Facebook Live and the computer broadcast. So do you ever hear yourself talking? It's very strange. You kind of, like when I hear myself talking, it's not what I think I sound like, but I guess that is what I sound like. Does that make sense? Have you guys ever run across that? Or am I the only weirdo who thinks about stuff like that? And it's okay. It's okay to be weird, right? We're all unique. We all are unique and special in our own way. That's for sure. So I'm just adding some white touches on here. And I'm covering up some of the painting I did, which is okay. I don't want to go too crazy with this white and start covering everything up, because that would be kind of a shame, right? I spent all this time painting and then I'm just going to make it all white again. Although that is a good thing. If you're ever painting like on a white canvas or something, or it's like whiteout. If you made a mistake, you could always, I guess, go back over it and start from scratch. So I guess what I'm looking for now on this is just some areas where I see some shapes that are defined. I'm just kind of going with a little bit of white, just to pull things out a little bit. Sometimes you can add water to your acrylic paint just to thin it out a little bit. Oh, actually, that's interesting. It's making like a kind of a real light purple color on there. I guess I have it. I guess it's blending in with a little bit of the purple ink, maybe. I'm going to take a bigger brush. Sometimes when you work with a smaller size paintbrush, you start thinking about like details and just find smaller areas that you want to create detail in, and that's kind of not what I want to do now. So I was starting to think about, you know, adding detail to this, but I think I want to keep things kind of looser, and it's good when it's when you want to do that, it's good to use a bigger brush. Keeps things more, I guess, more, you know, loose, because you're not. How many times did I say loose and finer in detail? Wow, I'm in like repeat mode. But I want to take this brush. I kind of want to just drag some of this thicker areas across, and just lightly glide across the page. And what this is doing is actually making not horizontal, but it's making lines on here, which is kind of neat, just to get a little bit more movement to the painting. I want to do the same thing up here where this heart is. I don't really like how this is all globbing together here, so I'm going to kind of just feather it out a little bit. Bob, I said feather like birds. You love birds, right? See? That's why we get along so well. We both like great outdoors. Nature is inspiring in so many different levels. But you can kind of see just adding some water to this white, it's thinning it out, and I'm able to pull it. And I'm just keep doing a real light touch on the paper. I'm not pushing hard on it. There we go. I'm actually liking this a lot better. And it's blending, it's actually mixing in with the red crayons I was using earlier. It's mixing in and kind of making a pink color, which is cool. It's really, you know, just have fun and experiment and try different things, for sure. And there does come a time when you start doing way too many things on the canvas or the paper, and it just starts looking like a big mess, you know, a big muddy, yucky mess. So when your gut tells you to stop, you just stop. I do have a lot of things on here, a lot of colors. I think, you know, what my gut's telling me is let this dry for a couple of minutes here. And I think I just want to come back with either a black colored pencil or black ink, black pen, and just kind of just start adding some finer details with the black. We'll see how that goes. I did that I always like to pull paintings out and show you. Let me find this one here. Which one is it? Somewhere over here. Well, I'll show you this. I may have showed you this last time as well. So on this painting I did, I don't know if you can really see it. It might be a little dark on the screen. Sorry if it is. But I didn't use actually black, but I used a blue colored pencil just to go in and add some lines in detail and to pull some shapes out. So on this one here, on this piece, I call this piece City of Angels, I saw some angelic figures or shapes on the abstract painting, and I used a colored pencil and I went over it and I tried to just pull out some more shapes, not pull out shapes, but to add some details. You know, I kind of just tried to show some an indication of maybe wings or feathers there. So that's kind of the idea of going back over your paintings and, you know, and trying to pull out some details. So I'm going to check the board over here. Cool. Well, I'm glad if you're watching out there, I appreciate your time. Hope you guys are enjoying this so far. It's the Snowy Day edition. cabin fever has set in for sure. Hence the bright colors, you know, the need for the vibrancy. I've seen enough white for a while. I used to love this kind of weather growing up, but I was telling Dina earlier today, the older I get, the less I'm actually liking this weather. I've always had a dream about retiring up in Maine and, you know, living up there on a seaside coastal kind of town, an old fishing village type of town, and I mean, that's really romantic. I don't know if I could deal with the snow. We'll see. You know, sometimes those dreams inside outweigh the things like snow and things that'll stand in your way. You're right. It all depends on what your motivating force is, your driving force is inside, and you know where you're going to go and where you're going to head to, and what obstacles you want or what obstacles you won't let impede what you want to do. So let's see. I'm going to break out some. I think I'm going to use a black charcoal pencil. This is actually, I call it a art graph stick, and basically it's almost like a big pencil, and you could put it on the paper and you can go over it with water and darken up some images, and let's try that. So again, I don't know what I'm doing, just having fun, really. That's what I'm doing. So I'm going to take this art graph and I'm just going to go through on here and add some dark lines. You know, I'm almost, if you've seen some of my other artwork, I have a thing for skylines and cityscapes. So for some reason, I guess my instinct, I'm just kind of drawn to maybe almost creating some kind of a building or buildings here. So I'm going to add this charcoal. You might not really see much on your end right now, but when I add some water to it, it'll really start to pull some things out. So I'm kind of went into quiet mode because I'm kind of in the groove a little bit here. In the groove. Where did that expression come from? In the groove. I wonder if it has anything to do with a maybe a record album, right? Because with the grooves and the needles, and I guess if the needle's not in the groove, record won't play properly. I have no idea. If anybody knows where that expression came from, I'm curious to know about it. What about you, Bob Ross? You want to know about that too? Of course you do, because you're groovy. Alright, that was a bad joke, sorry. Bad joke. Alright, so let's see. So I added some of that art graph pencil. Let me get a paintbrush here. Clean it off. I always have a paper towel nearby. I wish I had one earlier when I dropped purple paint all over my floor, but that's okay. It's a concrete floor, so it's all good. Just adding to the beauty of it. So let's see. Let's see if you can probably see it now on your end. On the looking through the camera, you see how I'm adding the water to that art graph pencil, and it's pulling out. It's really pulling that black out so you can see it. Now, where I put the art graph over the acrylic paint, it's not really happening so much, but that's okay. Let's see, I did a lot over here. There you go. You can kind of see it, see things pulling to life. Pulling to life, that does not even make sense. Coming to life. I keep telling myself I should start scripting these things a little bit more, so I don't sound like a total wacko talking. But again, this isn't the grammar channel you're watching, so any of my grammarians out there, I'm sorry if I'm butchering the grammar part of this presentation. But you get where I'm coming from, right? So I really am loving where this is coming out, how this is coming out. I'm almost seeing some kind of a building in here. You know, maybe the silhouette of a church or something happening over here. And I'm not sure, you know, after this dries, I might come back in and add even more detail and pull out some things. That's my expression of the night, pull out some things, but this is a family-friendly show, so keep your mind out of the gutter. Cool. I'm going to take the bigger brush just to get this, spread this out a little bit here. I actually want to do a, Bob Ross, you're inspiring me for this one here. On a lot of your paintings, Bob, right? Yes, I am talking to Bob here, inanimate Bob. On a lot of your paintings, Bob, I notice how you tend to put a big tree or something off to the side in the foreground, right? Is that true? Right, so I feel like I want to do something like that over on this side of the page. Just a big shape, maybe using an art graph pencil. What do you think? Should I go for it? All right. You know when you have Bob's nod of approval? You got to do it. No stopping it now. So I'm just going to add some of this graph stick here and just pull it out. I'm going to actually bring this down all the way to the bottom of the page. I want it to come up like this, almost to a point. So you're like, what is going on? And that's what I'm saying. What is going on over here? Let's add some water. I'm going to add some more of this graph pencil, and I'm just slightly rubbing it on the paper. I don't want to make this totally black on this side. I still want it to be transparent. So that's why I'm just lightly gliding it on here. I'm not covering the whole area solid. I'm going to give it a little bit of, I've been doing a lot of vertical lines on this. I want to do a little bit of horizontal on here just to break things up and create a little bit more interest. So this is, I don't know if you could pick this up on camera there. Over down in this area, I had some white acrylic paint and I put the charcoal graph stick. I'm changing the name on it every time I talk about it. And it's almost creating a very nice gray tone down in here, which I like. It's still transparent so I can see the watercolor ink painting underneath. But there you go. So I just want to have that shape. And I'm going to let it dry for a second. I'm going to check over there in the comments, see if there's any questions. All right. Hope you guys are having fun. I love doing this. I would do this 24/6. I need at least one day off for a break. Or 24/7, who knows? Awesome, awesome. So, I'm not sure who's on. If you're still on, say hello in the comments so I know you guys can hear me. I appreciate whoever's watching me out there. If you're watching and you leave, this will be posted up later. It's recorded, so feel free to watch it later. You could always leave comments and questions later, and I'm always going back and checking these videos out. It's it's just fun. This is just something really fun to do for sure. So I'm going to step back and just take a look at it. Yeah, so this is actually very cool. You know, sometimes when you're staying up close, it's, you know, you're just so focused on certain things. You gotta, you know, always step away from it. It's like anything in life, right? Always step away from it, step away from a situation. You know, become an outsider, an outside observer, and just to re-look at things, re-examine things, and get yourself focused, and then come back at it again. I'm going to come back in with this art graph pencil and add some more. Now I can't really use this over where I did the acrylic paint. It's really not adhering. I'm sure there's some kind of scientific explanation for that, but so I might just actually end up using, let's see, let me use a smaller brush for a second. Yeah, that worked. There's some areas in here I want to just give some verticality to. That's my big word of the night, verticality. Verticality. Now, I don't know if I could spell it right now. So what are you guys up to out there? Anything fun, exciting? If you're watching, like I said before, feel free to grab some paper or pencil, or crayons, and just color, draw, sketch, whatever. Just do something fun and creative. It's been a crazy day being trapped inside in the snow. You know, put your brain in creative mode and just escape for a little bit. I think there's a way on Facebook Live where I could actually like have someone that's watching the show now. I think I could have one of you guys like join in, and I could show you live while I'm doing this live. I've never done it before, but if anybody's doing a sketch or something like that, or just coloring or doing anything creative, it'd be cool to see. And if you want to try it and come on camera, let me know. I don't know exactly how it works. So I'm just gonna let that dry for a second. Yeah, I think this one's is almost in the home stretch. You know, I think I actually want to break out the some ink now, some black ink. And I have some over here somewhere. Actually, I have this ink pen. I don't know if there's black in it. Let's see. I have this cool ink pen here. I think the company that makes it is called Lamy, L-A-M-Y, and it's a Safari. It's the Lamy Safari pen. And it has a place inside where you could put ink cartridges. I don't know if this has any ink in it or not. We'll find out. Or, you know, you can do the old-fashioned way too. You can dip the point of the pen in some ink, which I have around. The only thing is sometimes these dry up if you don't use them for a while, and it's just getting the ink started that is a pain in the neck. This is cool. So I'm dipping my, you can't really see it now, I'm dipping my pen in here, and it's making these cool swirly black marks. So I'm kind of getting started. I don't know, let's see. I might have to, yeah. Sometimes these are a pain in the neck to get started. I think I'm actually going to go old school here and grab a bottle of ink if I could find one, or I do have this guy. This is dangerous but fun. This is my Mondo, my Magnum Sharpie. This thing is awesome. I don't know, what do you think? Should we just go for it and do the Sharpie here? What do you think, Bob Ross? Okay, you say yes. Let's do it. You can't say no to Bob, right? Let me just move this water here. I don't want to spill it. Move this ink over here. Let's do some Sharpie coloring here. So let's just do it. So this actually has a chisel point on it, which I like, because you can do real wide, strokes, or you can do a finer stroke. I want to do some finer ones on here. And I'm actually going to crouch down. I want to look at this from a different, that's a good tip, I guess. You can always move around and look at your paintings from different angles. Last time we worked on this, I actually rotated it around a few times just to see what orientation I liked. But I'm just going to get down here and do some marker work. So these lines I'm doing here are actually, I'm actually being formed where they're going by some of the colors and shapes that are already on here, and I'm highlighting them basically. So I'm using the under painting as almost a guide. For example, I see this shape, and I am seeing obviously some kind of cityscape here. I'm seeing a spire up in here. Maybe it comes down like this a little bit. And over here, so what I'm kind of picturing on this side over here, where we put the graph pencil from the top to bottom, I'm almost seeing a building, a skyscraper or something, in the foreground here. So let me outline it and see what happens. Let's see. And pull it all the way down. So you think of buildings and skyscrapers, you think of perfectly straight lines, but this is a really loose interpretation, right? So I have very curvy, flowing lines on here, just to go with the rest of the theme of what I'm doing. But I almost, let's see. And I don't want to color it all black, but I think I'm going to make that a little darker at some point in time, just so it contrasts a little more from the background. I don't know if my back's in the camera there. But if it is, I'm sorry. So you see how just by adding a little bit of lines on there with the Sharpie, it just pulled some of the shapes, colors out. This is really turning into a cool sky, maybe a cool skyline here. Funky, sky background going on. That's kind of what I'm seeing in it. And these paintings are, what I love about them is everybody sees something different in them, which is fun. I might even take this and just want to maybe just kind of pull out these heart shapes I was doing before here, just to give it a little more definition. Now, I don't want to get crazy and start outlining every single thing on here. I want to leave a lot of it open for interpretation. I do want to pull out this figure. I keep seeing that ancient wise person figure up in there, but I don't know if I want to do that with the Sharpie. I might see if I have a different, maybe a colored pencil, different color. So I'll put that there. Whew. I don't know if you guys can smell this, but this is strong. That is a strong marker. Wow. All right, let's bring over the colored pencils. These are actually Dina's pencils. Hope you don't mind me using them. I kind of stole them from her. Prismacolor colored pencils are awesome. I think they're probably the best ones I've used. I just think they cover the surface of the paper well. They have just the colors, such a wide variety of colors. I think they tend to be a little more expensive than other brands, but I think it's worth, the cost. I have a thing over here I did, colored pencils. Let's see. Well, a couple things I'll show you. So this image here I did using some colored pencils, and if you see, the green here, I did a watercolor background, then I came over top with colored pencils. So the green is colored pencils, the circles you see are colored pencils as well. I forget what I called this. This was like a scrap piece of paper I was going to throw out, and then I picked it up and I'm like, I'm not going to throw it out, and I did the stuff on it. So I don't know if I called it Rebirth or something like that. So always save your scraps of paper. You don't know what they're going to turn into. So that was one, and then this is a piece. Ooh, there it is. This is a piece that I did with colored pencil as well. So one of the things I like about working with colored pencil on textured paper is, and it's hard to pick up on camera, but there's some areas on there that are kind of rough looking, and I like the way that the paper texture is showing through on here. Hello, say hello, sister. Hello. Whoa, must be getting late. So, these are a couple of things that I've done with colored pencils. So let's see, what's a good color to break out in here? I only got like 64 or something to choose from. Maybe I'm gonna do something dark. Maybe this blue. This is violet blue. Just gonna sharpen it over here for a second. It's always good to have a pencil sharpener on hand when you're using these things. If you're just joining, hello. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you have power and heat. Hope you have your cable, internet back. I guess if you didn't have internet back, you wouldn't be able to be watching this live, but that's okay. It'll be rebroadcast. The weather has been absolutely crazy, and it's weather like this and times like this where it brings people together. I remember Hurricane Sandy. How horrible that was, and you hear a lot of the negative, but one of the positive things that came out of that, I think, was community and people getting to know their neighbors and coming together, which is a cool thing. So, in any storm, you got to look for the positives, right, Bob? That's right. So I have this colored pencil here, and let's go up here. I'm going to just draw. Like I keep saying, I keep seeing this. If you're just joining us, I keep seeing a figure up here, almost like an ancient wise person. I don't know. That's what I'm seeing. So I'm kind of outlining the shapes, maybe to give the indication of some kind of a flowing gown or a flowing robe. What's the word? Sage. Maybe sage is the word I'm thinking of. Almost like an ancient sage kind of person here. Maybe they're gazing up at the stars. I don't know. But you can see how the colored pencil is just adding a layer of detail on top of the painting underneath. Again, just to pull something out of it. And I think I'm just going to keep it really loose. Cool. It's looking good. Looking good. So I'm going to check over there on Facebook, see if there's any questions or comments. Feel free to leave questions, comments, talk to each other. This is for fun. Hi Dina, how are you? What's that? Hi from Red Bull. Red Bull is my cat. He said hello. That's nice, as always. It's always good to have the support of your family pets in your painting projects, people. I just want to see how many P words I could say after one another. Painting, pets, people, perhaps. Cool. So I'm going to take a black colored pencil and I kind of want to, just going to add some horizontal lines on here. Maybe a couple, use some vertical ones. Maybe, let's go back to that graph pencil I was using before. And I'm going to put some graph pencil on here. And then we'll add water to it and you'll see the magic. I'm trying to make it sound exciting. I hope it's working. All right. So let's get some water and a brush. Let's get some water and a brush. Where is my brush? No, I want the small one. Oh boy. Did you ever do that where you're looking, you put something down and you go to look for it like a minute later and you can't find it? And it's right in front of you? Whoa. See? I'm only human, just like everybody else. Except for Bob Ross. He's not. He's superhuman, right? No. You are so modest, Bob. Alright, let's... So I'm taking water and just going over where I had that graphite stick just to make it a little darker and pull out the shapes. Where is that graphite pencil? Here it is. And you could also put the graphite paper over the wet areas too. So I'm putting little rectangular kind of shapes in here. I'm just trying to give a hint or suggestion of maybe windows in a building. Right, I'm seeing almost a skyscraper building on this side. Over here. Very subtle, very abstract. Very fun. You can always tell when you're coming to the end of an art piece or you know, a painting. For me, I could always tell when I'm coming to the end is when I start really, my brain goes from the big picture down to the finer details. So now my brain has kicked into detail mode. Like, you know, I know this is a cityscape here, so I want to add some more details. Maybe just pop out some window shapes. I want to keep this, I think, as it is, just very loose. I like it. I might add a little bit more red up here. Well, instead of saying might, why don't, let's just do it. Let's just do it. Let's add a little bit of red on that. Let's pull that out. Yeah, but my brain is definitely in detail mode. It's almost like anything, right? When you're planning something, you always start with the bigger picture. And then you work on the details of it. And I guess most of the time you actually know what your end goal is going to be too, right? You know, you have a destination, you kind of know where you want to get to at the end of the day. So you kind of work. I've heard the expression, you work with the end in mind. So you kind of start with focusing on the end and how you're going to get there, what steps you're going to get there. This piece was kind of a little different because I really had no idea where it was going to end. I still don't know exactly how it's going to end. But I do know that I am getting close to wrapping it for sure. So if you have any questions or comments, feel free to put them on there. I'm going to take a look at them. Say hello, pop in, chat a little bit. Now I really would love to create a community where this is done regularly, and maybe I get some of you guys to come on and we do the stuff together. It's not really, these really aren't meant to be technical how-to art classes, so to speak. It's really about creating a mindset and and kind of an atmosphere where you just experiment and you're not afraid to try different things. I think sometimes we're just so afraid to do it. And I'm talking about creative, art, painting, drawing, things like that. We're just afraid we're going to make mistakes, so we don't even try anything, and that's sad. That's really, I think that's really unfortunate. And it's a hard thing to get over. I know I've been there, and I'm still there. I don't always like to show what I'm doing, or I'm afraid to start working on something. But it doesn't happen as often as it used to, because it's really about being in the moment, going with the flow, using your imagination and creativity. I really believe our imaginations is probably one of our greatest gifts, and if we keep it in here all the time, it's okay, but it's great if you can get it out sometimes, whether it's writing, music, gardening, it could be sports, whatever brings your imagination from inside out is, it's different for everybody, and I think it's a great thing that we should do. And I love being able to share it. I think sharing our imagination it's just so fun, right, Bob? It's fun. I don't do a good Bob Ross voice. I've tried, and it's really kind of scary. So that's why my Bob Ross tends to be silent. I have witnesses in the house that my Bob Ross voice can be a little frightening. But just picture a soothed, calming voice, that's all. So you saw how I added some red up here. Just pulled it a little bit out here. I want to add some more, I think. I don't want to go too cray. Cray. Does anybody say cray? Anybody out there say that? Or am I the only one? Cool. Let it dry for a sec. I'm here. I'm just checking my massages, as they say. I also had music on before and it stopped, but I just started it. I always like to have music on when I'm painting. I can't play it too loud. I think Facebook, there's regulations and copyright laws. If Facebook Live picks up the music I'm playing, they might shut off the broadcast or something. So if you can't hear it, that's why. I can hear it. What kind of music do you guys listen to? What inspires you? I find different types of music inspires me in different ways. I love music from movies, film scores, Hans Zimmer, Danny Elfman, and when I'm listening to that and drawing or painting, I'll notice differences in different artists I'm listening to. If I'm listening to a Metallica versus Neil Diamond, my flows and the way I'm painting kind of goes with the music. So I really encourage listening to music while you're doing this. Or if you really want to just listen to yourself, you're inside, just do this in silence and let your inner self speak to you. That's the sage up here in the corner. He's talking to me now. He's putting those words in my mouth right now. If you want to listen to your inner self, create in silence. I think you can quote me on that. So I think it's good. I think I'm in a home stretch. I think I'm going to wrap up the live Facebook Live for tonight. I'm going to be doing these at least once a week for sure. I'll try to post on my Facebook when I'm going to be doing it. Tonight was just unplanned, just spur of the moment. And if you joined, that's great. If you're watching this after the fact, that's great too. Please let me know you're watching this and you like it, so I have motivation to keep doing it. I hope you're getting some fun out of this, some value, some quality time with Bob. And there you go. So that's it. I think this one's pretty much done. I'm going to sign it. Well, I'll sign it right now. Let's see. Maybe we'll sign it in, what should we sign it with? I don't know. Black. We'll sign it with the black. Actually, I feel like signing it with red. Let's use a red pencil here. Actually, I have a red Sharpie here somewhere in my tons of stuff. I don't know where it is. That's all right. So I'm going to sign it down here. So I always like to put the year on here. Little heart. And there you go. I don't know, this one doesn't have a name. If you guys have any suggestions for names for this one, feel free to put them on there. I don't know, sometimes a name will hit me after the fact. Well, actually, most of the time after the fact, I'll come up with a name for it.